want to say I'm sorry, apologize. I'm trying to do it and listen to Mrs. P as well. So if we could, maybe we could get back to some of the information, because we were kind of in the whole stellar alignments and the Earth's future role in the Galactic Federation, that kind of thing. So maybe we could get back to some of that or get into that a little bit heavier, if you don't mind. And then I'll go back through and see if I can't find some more of those questions while you're communicating.
Well, part of your next step on this journey as you shift dimensions is to once again be part of the galactic community. And as it stands now, as for looking at your probable timelines, it is likely that you will be included once again with the Galactic Federation. Now, there are about 52 species that are currently members. Now, that doesn't account for thousands and thousands of planets that these species are scattered over. And many of them have donated, again, their genetic material to your planet. But you will have the opportunity to once again join in that that group, in with that collective, if you will. One thing to note here, just as an aside, that when you get into the higher realms, anything outside of the third dimension, everything's a collective. That's why you've got collectives and councils and committees and all of these groups, because you experience reality as a collective.
That's
you don't
true.
experience it as solely a unique individual that is separate from everything. You still have your own unique expression and your own unique perspective of reality, but you also understand that you are part of a group and of a collective, and how your thoughts and actions affect the entire group. So you will have the opportunity, and if you choose to do so as a planet, once again become part of the Federation. Now, what exactly is the Federation? It is an organization, for lack of a better term, which beings who became a part of it agreed on an established set of rules for maintaining order, if you will, within the galaxy. That there were certain things as far as moving through time jumping, that would be honored and prohibited in order to keep reality stable. Without going into too much detail, it has to do with how probable realities are structured. If you're jumping time in a way that is too disruptive to a probable reality, you can destroy an entire timeline. So there were limits and limitations that were placed on that. So also with disputes, disputing over territory, over property, but that's kind of not a precise word, but we would say territory is probably a better way of describing. That's one of the other things that the Galactic Federation oversees, disputes in general, that they work with, and just creating balance and order. So you'll have the opportunity to once again become a member. But many of you are already members of the Galactic Federation, perhaps in other lifetimes, in other bodies, in other vehicles representing other species. So oftentimes you are leaving your body at night, reconnecting with that other part of yourself who is about to give a lecture, shall we say, to the Galactic Federation, an update. So that also occurs quite frequently with a number of you. Now, there are smaller councils that you meet with, just as your subcommittees in your legislative bodies. You have your subcommittees in the Galactic Federation that work and have different focuses, and so you go and meet with some of these beings to fill them in on what's going on, so that they can, so that it can be discussed. Because, as we said, what's going on the planet right now is going to infect. So that's a good way for us to put it. Affect the entire galaxy, or the entire universe. Now, one of the potentials for you all, as we mentioned briefly here before, is that you can, as you go through this process, teach others how to go through integration. And when you transit, when you move into the fifth dimension, what happens to your energetic field, or as we're seeing it, as we're looking at the probable reality, is your energetic field looks to be golden. And that's why one of the nicknames you've been dubbed with are the golden ones, because that's your energetic field. That's what you look like, your auric field, if you will. It's more your vibrational body, which you are in the process of developing a new energetic template for your new physical vehicle, because you're going to create a lighter version of your physical body, and it's created out of this vibrational template. But that's, again, another couple hours of conversation.
Well, let me just interrupt just a quick question here, because it's right along the same lines that you're talking about. You called us, golden people. And the information that I've been given, and that a lot of people have been given, is that in meditation work, visualization, that kind of work, to draw in that golden light.
Yes.
That I'm assuming that's because that's just who we are, and of course it's more than that, obviously.
Yes, it's how you perceive source energy. It's golden energy. Okay. If you want to ground with the planet herself, you're going to work with silver light. But if you're talking about stellar light, you're going to work with golden energy. And as you become stellar beings, as you become aware beings, your energetic field becomes golden, because you're anchoring. Remember, you're integrating duality. And not everybody in the galaxy is going to have a golden energetic field, because they have not mastered integration. That's why this is so special. You all have this notion that because you are in a lower dimension that you're not as good as, or that somehow you are lower than beings who are in the upper realms, that they somehow have more information, more knowledge, more wisdom. No, they're playing a different game. Higher isn't better. It's just different.
Okay.
So, as we said, some of these beings couldn't quite work out the differences. If you're talking about, the example we always give is the Sirian star system. They couldn't work it out. They blew up one of their stars. Took out the whole system.
Huh.
So they couldn't get it right. So they sent representatives to Earth to work out some of their issues. Some of them are still not getting it right. But it doesn't take a majority to make this transition.
Mm.
It doesn't require more than half of you. It requires a very small number of you in order to create a new template and create change.
Does that have anything to do with the 144,000 number that floats around?
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Would you like to explain that?
There are a number of very potent numbers that exist for you. That's one of those numbers, which is a power number even at 144. It's based on the number 12, which is the basis for the system. It's the square of 12. So it has to do with, it is in a sense, it is the tipping point. It is the number that is required in order for you to make transition, which is not very many of you.
Have we reached that number?
Yes. Yes. Now, how you go about it, that's a whole other ballgame. But there are enough of you who have awakened in order to happen, at least on one timeline.
I love that timeline thing.
Yes. Well, it's kind of hard for us to get around talking about it, because
Good.
you have to understand how reality really is. And we'll talk about it. We'll try to be brief, because we know there are other questions that are coming in that we want to make sure we answer. But think about it this way. We call it the Harper probability. So if you can think of each string as having a unique vibration to it. All right? So you think down here on this planet that